Hello and welcome to Reshoot, an amateur's guide to good film. Today we will be reviewing A Cure for Wellness. I am one of your hosts, Eduardo Soler.
I am also a host, Ruthie Carlo.
And I'm also a host, Hector Soler.
That's not true.
Hector Carlo.
It was
Hector
so
Carlo.
romantic. Their wedding was beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just jump right into this with a quick synopsis. Spoilers. A Cure for Wellness is a story about a man called Lockhart who is a stock trader, or he works in a financial firm that trades stocks for businesses like that, something along those lines. And after a big sale that he did, that turns out that he did some illegal activities, the board members of the company he works for tell him that their CEO has gone missing, Pembroke. The only thing they have of where he is at is a letter that he wrote saying that he's in some wellness center or sanitarium, I think is what they call it, somewhere in the Swiss Alps. So the board members of the company are planning a merger. They blackmail Lockhart with the illegal activities to send him off to find Pembroke and bring him back so that Pembroke can sign off and the merger can go through hassle-free. So Lockhart sets off for the Swiss Alps in this wellness center to look for Pembroke. And when he gets there, he notices people are strange. People won't tell him where Pembroke is. And on his way back to town to stay for a couple hours before the sanitarium said they could let him see Pembroke, the driver runs into a deer, and Lockhart gets injured on his leg, and he's been in the sanitarium unconscious for about 3 days on this point. And then he goes around really looking for Pembroke. He finds him. Pembroke starts making sense, but then they take him away, and then he's not making sense anymore. He's brainwashed again, like he sounded in the letter. And he discovers after some time that a girl that he's been talking to, Hannah, who seems to be a special case, she's the only other young person in this facility that is a patient. Volmer, the owner or the director of this facility, is actually a 300-year-old man, the Baron of the old castle, and Hannah is his daughter. Throughout the film, he finds out that this sanitarium is where this old castle used to be, and he hears this story about a baron that used to be part of the castle and some strange things he wanted to do.
He's just trying to keep it all in the family.
Yeah, he wants a pure bloodline, and you can see where that goes.
Sorry, God. Sorry,
Yeah.
Ed.
It's fine. He finds out the story about the Baron, that he wanted a pure bloodline. The villagers were not okay with it, and he was doing some weird stuff with the peasants, with the water that is under the castle. And then he gets burned alive, along with his wife, that dies as well. But in the end, Lockhart keeps poking around, trying to get Pembroke out. And while talking to Hannah and Volmer and other people in the sanitarium, he finds out that Volmer is actually the Baron, and Hannah is his daughter. That was removed from his wife, and thrown into the water and lived. Anyways, Volmer still wants to keep the bloodline pure, which is not okay. And Lockhart finds out that his leg wasn't actually broken. He's been on crutches and a cast all this time until the end, where he fights Volmer, who has transplanted a face on himself.
It was supposedly a mask.
And then Hannah ends up killing Volmer, and he falls into the water, where the eels eat him. Oh yeah, and the water is what makes them immortal, but they need to put the water... The water is actually toxic to humans, but they can do some stuff where they can extract the purity, the longevity part of it.
they filter it through eels,
They
and
filter
when
it
the
through
humus,
eels in the
and
human
they,
body.
yeah, and they sweat. The humans sweat it out. Hence why the
Yes.
sweaty seafood is what the elix.
The seawater,
Ah,
yeah.
Yes.
yes. And then Volmer and Hannah, and I think all the other people in that take this pured form of water, which gives them near immortality, is what it looks like. But Volmer dies, and then Lockhart escapes with Hannah right before they actually escape. The executives show up because he's been missing for like 5-6 days. He tells them the merger's not going well, but Lockhart doesn't give a shit, and then he rides off with the bicycle with Hannah behind him, and he gives a dastardly grin.
A literal
Cut to black.
a green goblin grin.
Yes, a green
Center.
goblin grin. But as you were saying, the mask part, when he first goes down to the basement or whatever that place is, you can see that there's several faces in the thing in like these what are they called? Like very big petri dish kind of looking things. They're like suspended in water.
Mhm.
And when he looks at them, it looks like they have veins. So I don't think it's like just a mask. I think it's
Oh, he
actually like
just
transplanted face on himself.
he Michael Myers that. It's his mask is a face.
Yes,
Yeah.
but it's more
I
like
catch
a
that.
face transplant than an actual mask. But yeah, this movie I saw it in theaters, and the one thing I liked, which I'm actually stealing from Chris Stuckman because I agree with him, the sound design is top notch. I love just the silence you get in some scenes, and when he's walking in the crutches, you just get that like throughout, and it gives this like unnerving sense to me. I don't know, it's crazy. Other than that, story's kind of really good up until like the last 30 minutes.
Oh.
No, I like this movie.
There's some dissension in the ranks over here.
Yes, I know, and I can't wait to hear about it. What else did I like about this movie? I also love the actor who played Fulmer. What's his name?
Jason Isaacs. Oh my god, dude has Jason Isaacs just like
Jason Isaacs. Yes.
okay. He played like the Grand Inquisitor in Rebels. He played Zhao in Avatar: Last Airbender.
Lucius Malfoy in the Harry Potter movies.
Yeah.
Like, dude has
I loved Fulmer.
He's a very underrated he's a very slept on actor, I think. But like
he has the range, darling.
He's really good.
He has the range, dog. Yeah, Fulmer's great. Hannah, Mia Goth.
I feel like
I was very upset with Hannah. Well, not with Hannah, but with I disliked how she was treated in the movie.
Oh, yeah.
Both by the plot and by the director and the cinematographer. Like, the more I think about it, the more upset and angry I am.
So for your turn.
You think they objectified her a lot, or what?
Yeah, we're kidding.
Yeah, she. Yeah, I will say I will agree with that. Director did do some more choices with the female characters in this movie. The 3 that there are, pretty much.
They're not female characters; they're just meat and plot devices in the sense of the movie.
I really liked also about this movie is just the slowness of it, the buildup of it, the not knowing what the heck is going on, all these mysterious pieces that you put together. I love slow movies like this, especially it kept me intrigued, at least, to find out what the heck is going on, what the heck is weird with this sanitarium. And the payoff is not good. And it just takes it could have been such a good movie.
But they had to hand it to you twice that Fulmer is the Baron.
We'll get to that. I don't know. I mean, yeah, you could probably figure it out.
As soon as I saw him, I'm like, okay.
We saw the creepy photograph with the guy on bandages, and I was like, like, that's the fucking Baron right there.
I knew it beforehand. Was it before? Did we see the bandages before or after the pendant?
We saw the bandages before the pendant. It's one of the first things.
See, I didn't get a good look at it from my angle. From my angle watching TV, I didn't see that bandage thing.
Mhm.
The first thing I really saw was the pendant, like a second later, and I'm like, okay, he's a Baron.
Yeah, and then Hannah, she was like walking around, and I'm like, either she's the ghost of the sister, or like she's somehow related to the sister. There's shenanigans going on. I had it like down pat in the first half hour, like.
Yeah, but the thing is, it gives you the clues, and it gives you a pretty, I would say, kind of, if you're really paying attention, a very obvious, like, who's who. But I will say, on my first watch through in the theaters, I was still paying attention, but in my mind, I'm like, Baron's dead. Like, I don't know, like, it's not as obvious as it seems, in my opinion, putting all the pieces together. I don't know, because I didn't put it together in on my first watch through. And after rewatching it, yeah, it's kind of obvious, but even then, I don't think it's that big of an issue that they give you two really big clues right in the beginning, then there's nothing about it for a while. It kind of gives you a chance to forget a little bit, because they don't show the pendant again. You only see the bandage picture one more time when Lockhart puts the pieces together.
Yeah, but like we get to hear all these clues about like the Baron's science, and like Dr. Vollmer, I have great admiration for the Baron and his medical science, despite how bad it is. Very bad, but good science.
Yeah, well, yeah, still piecing it together. Yeah, you can do that really quickly. But they don't tell you about Hannah, at least, until the very end. It really shows you. Once Lockhart figures it out, that's when it really shows you who Hannah is.
Yeah, that was a surprise to me, at least, because like I said, I thought she was like reincarnated sister, or the sister had survived as well.
Yeah.
There were some sister shenanigans.
Yes, there were some sister shenanigans. Yeah, honestly, just the first like 2 acts of the movie, I loved, honestly. The intrigue, the like creepy weird stuff, the uncovering clues, the trip to the town was a little weird when he takes the trip down to the town with Hannah.
Yeah.
I'll be honest, I was starting to get bored around a bit before the bit to the town, and then once they went to the town, it was actually refreshing.
Mhm.
But as soon as they went back to the damn sanitarium, I'm like, oh god, just get out. I figured it out. Just stop.
Yeah, no, like after they get back from the town, that's really when I kind of stopped liking it as much as well.
I mean, just because they went back to the sanitarium after spending so much of the movie
No, there was just something about it. It just like it didn't have the same vibe at all once they got back, because
we already knew everything, but
because Lockhart discovered some new information about the water.
No, honestly, it was like a tonal shift. I may need to watch the movie, but something was definitely different, and it wasn't just Lockhart had the information that like the people are getting dehydrated. No, it was like all the things that I liked in the first part of the movie. It's like they all disappeared by that point.
Like, for example, the smoke, there was little wisps of air, right? Or little wisps and stuff flying around.
Dust and stuff.
The dust whenever in the villa, because it's dreamlike. But even before that point, after like once they start covering it up, it's gone. And I get that it's intentional, but he doesn't technically wake up from the dream until way later in the movie. So shouldn't that still be there? Sorry, I'm not trying to take over your part. It's just
I know, but I think the tonal shift makes sense because of the revelation about the water.
No, the tonal shift makes sense.
It makes sense, but there's something missing to it.
Yeah, there's an ingredient. I'm with Ruthie on this one. It
needs salt.
Oh no! Wait,
you got in a sweat.
Wait, no, not salt. There's too much of that. We need a lemon. We need some acid in here.
Yeah.
Get Gordon Ramsay.
I mean, I'm sure they were taking acid while making this.
I didn't quite see it that way. I mean, there's a shifty for sure, but I don't know what was missing. I think the movie progresses pretty okay throughout. I'll just say, yeah, the plot progression and all of that is, I liked it all the way up until the last like 30, 40-ish minutes. And that's what I loved about the movie. And let's get to things I didn't like, which were the last like 30 to 40 minutes, which was uh Lockhart falling into the dream and then getting out of it, or falling into the trap of the sanitarium and then getting out of it super quickly.
Yeah.
That pissed me off. His teeth growing back is interesting, at least. It's weird.
Wait, they grew back?
No, it
Yeah.
wasn't. It grew back. They were already dentures around the build. There were already dentures that they had. I assume they just gave him a new denture
Or like a
because
a false tooth?
he already fell for their trap, so they might as well just give him a
Yeah,
denture
he
now.
lost 2 teeth, including front left, and then when he's sitting on the bench and Hannah talks to her, he has all his teeth back, and even at the end of the movie, he still has all his teeth back.
Yeah, I noticed that.
And the way he falls out, I can see what he was going for with the ballerina that his mom made for him. Yeah,
You get out of the dream.
get out of the dream. And then the reveal was okay. I mean, or at least Lockhart piecing it together of taking the picture and seeing that the bandaged man in the photo is holding the hands of a little girl, who turns out to be Hannah. The leg thing was, I think, pretty cool too.
I did like the leg thing.
No, the leg thing was
The
cool.
leg thing was good.
Yeah,
That brought a little light back into it.
yeah, where he's cutting his own hand with the glass, cutting open the cast that he has on his leg, and just figuring out that he's fine. And then we get to Volmer having his weird ceremony of marrying his daughter, and then the bed in the basement. Blech.
Yeah.
I know, right? Disgusting. Oof. And then yeah, like Dane DeHaan Lockhart goes down, confronts Volmer. Oh, and Hannah slaps Volmer's face, and then you see a little notch on his face, which is weird. And then Lockhart goes down, and Volmer's like, yeah, the outside world is bad. This is what the outside world gives you. And he pulls off his face, and he has this weird green ass fucking, I don't even know.
It's like zombie Shrek.
I know, it's so.
We live in a
Like-
society, Mr. Lockhart.
Like, what was this? Like, it was so strange. And just, he has like superhuman strength.
I
From
noticed that. Yeah, he was
immortality
able to
water?
sleep flying.
The power of sister boners
So-
is strong with this one.
Oh my god.
This
No, No, okay, so I try not to do this, but I just didn't know. I was very curious what like certain people on forums were saying about this movie. And someone mentioned that this is basically a vampire movie. Because you got like a guy in a castle draining people of essence for immortality. Fluid. So
it's kinda.
I don't think it
kinda.
is.
It follows a plot structure.
It follows
does.
it follows. I mean, some of the stuff is vampire-ish, yeah, but yeah, it's yeah. I don't know what happened here at at the end. Like, first the dream and cutting out of the dream super quickly, and then Fulmer tearing his face off and revealing some grotesque. I don't even know.
Was it supposed to show like the ugly face of ambition? Because it seems, if so, it's too on the nose and also lack of a nose on him. But like, I don't know.
I don't know.
This-
It's
this
so
movie
out
tries to
of
be
left
deep.
field.
It tries to be deep, but like, it doesn't work.
Yeah,
Like,
it's almost
I mean,
like-
it's not out of left field. Like, it makes sense, but just like, I agree with the tonal shift here. It just goes into this weird fucking something.
It turns into like a generic horror movie when you finally see the mask off, and it's just I don't know.
Yeah,
This movie
I don't know.
I think that the issue. I think I figured it out. Is it cool if I, Ed?
Yeah, sure.
I think what happened is that this movie presents stuff as this more highbrow with cinematography, the acting, like the whole mystery and air and fanciness. This movie presented itself as this kind of more fancy movie that tries to be different, but at the last half, it just falls back on the same tropes and the same storytelling plots, beat for
Yeah.
beat for beat for beat. I literally knew everything that was going to happen. Nothing surprised me.
Yeah.
As soon as like, you want to see what real things? I'm like, okay, he's going to show his face now, isn't he? He starts ripping it. I'm like, yep.
I don't know what happened there. I don't know if that's Gore Verbinski, the director, or the writer. I mean,
He was one of the two. I looked at
yeah,
this.
one
It
of the two
was-
writers. Like, cause it was like story by Gore Verbinski, and I forget the writer's name, but
It was like Justin Hay.
let me check.
Wait. Okay, while you're doing the research, Ed, can I ask you a question?
Yeah,
What would you change?
what would I change? All right, Justin Haith. It was written by Justin.
He's only done like
Haven.
3 other movies.
Yeah, he did
Gore Verbinski.
Lone Ranger, something Revolutionary Road, and one or two others.
I've only ever heard of Lone Ranger.
Same. And A Cure for Wellness.
Never heard of that one.
Nope. We don't talk about it
Lone
anymore.
Ranger, Revolutionary Road.
Not
I've
after
heard
this.
of that one. Snitch, Red Sparrow.
Oh, Red Sparrow.
Red Sparrow, right? The Jennifer Lawrence spy flick. That I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's okay.
I watched it. It's okay. Yeah, it's nothing special, nothing terrible though. But oh Lord, I would take this movie and I would make 2. Very different. Well, I would kind of keep the same plot line for one of the 2. The first one I would make though is I would ground it more in reality. Like I wouldn't go into the fantastical immortality stuff. I just think that I just put them as absolutely insane, literally. Volmer would not be the Baron, he would be the Baron's like grandson from Hannah who lived.
So then what would you do then with the immortality? Why are they doing all this evil shit then?
Because the Baron, the story of the Baron saying that the waters or the aquifer there gives you immortality or it gives you strength or something is still there. It's still there for curative properties to cure the illness.
Okay, sorry,
it's
just
still
when you said
there.
there's
It's
less.
just they're insane. It's not.
Yeah,
it
they don't-
doesn't actually do
They
anything.
believe it, but it's not true.
Yeah, the water's
Okay.
still
The myth is
toxic.
just a myth.
They still do all these weird experiments, but it's not actually true. And what would happen with Volmer and Hannah is pure bloodline. Still, they would be related from Hannah. I don't know how they would explain that Hannah had a child.
Maybe she had a twin. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they were twins. I don't know. But yeah, that's what I would do. I would ground it more in reality. None of these fantastical elements. People are just brainwashed, and everybody in the Volmer and all the people are just literally crazy. There's no face mask thing. There's no immortality. The eels are still there. The water is just water. It's just bad for you. It's toxic. And yeah, that's what I would do for one of them. Everything else I would mostly keep the same. I would obviously you'd have to touch some things up to make more sense. And I would probably lean into the dream and the you guys are making me think I'm crazy Shutter Island kind of thing also. Because he says that once and that's not what's happening at all. Or it's at least it's not very well represented.
Yeah, I can tell they're going for it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I would do that more. And then the second movie, I would hard lean into the fantastical elements of it. But I don't
Like they're actually vamp?
Not well, yeah, they're immortal. Like, but there's more fantastical elements throughout.
Like what?
I don't know. I like like it's hard to do because the first 2 acts of this movie I really liked and I think are pretty good. It's just I don't know how to fix the last part of the movie while still leaning into these fantastical elements because it's kind of fucked. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe you guys can help me out. how would you lean more into the fantastical element of this? Because the movie starts off very grounded in reality, and then as it progresses, it gets into this.
There wasn't much fantasy other than the water, though, is the problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get what you're going for, but like, I guess if the only way I can think of off the top of my head is if that theory that someone had where it's like, this is basically a vampire movie, is if you lean into that hard, but instead of blood, they found a way to replace it with water,
Or just just like fluids or moisture.
or specifically the water and that really big
The
frost. That way they
water.
can still be, that way they can be daywalkers.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know, the water is from the sweat. So like, let's say like the water has that property, but of like curative
But it needs
properties,
to be
right?
like
It needs to be
but it needs to be
filtered
like
through a human,
filtered.
and it like vampires need blood. Maybe it needs that little filtration thing
And
for
like,
it to
he
work
seems
on
to be
them.
more, yes, and it would mix with the fire theme well because
Oh yeah,
vampires and fire don't always mix
and then
well.
and then yeah, would you keep the incestuous stuff there?
See,
You could
okay,
you could go either way.
I personally would find it interesting is if Hannah didn't know she was she didn't know she was a vampire, and she's learning this throughout the movie. Like, she smells the blood in the tampon scene or whatever the period. She's like a little hungrier or something.
Snack.
But like, no, but like for real, no, like if we're leaning into this,
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think I don't know if you get high off your or what is it? High off your own supply? I don't know if that would be it.
no, you
No,
don't.
no, no. He's talking about
Don't keep the.
the one in the town.
No.
The girl in the town. She like when she walks in the
Right.
bathroom.
Oh,
they say
that's
she-
what you're
Yeah. She gets like, wait, why does this smell good? What's going on?
Yeah.
Because she's been, maybe she likes
Yeah,
her
she drinks the beer and she like immediately throws up because her vampiric constitution.
Well, they can still eat food. I like the idea that vampires can
Yeah.
still eat food and drink. It's just they need
They need
blood or something
they need the
adjacent to it in this case.
something, and
So
yeah, maybe like how vampires don't age. Maybe this water makes them age more normally, and that's why she has her period later. But they still live a really long time. It's just that they could grow up to an adult at least, unlike another vampire movie. Yeah.
Ed,
Hmm?
Ed, I know the movie you're talking about. You can say What We Do in the Shadows.
It's not What We Do in the Shadows.
I know. Although
It's Twilight.
Yeah, it's
wait,
Twilight.
what?
It's Twilight. That's
Wait,
the
I was
movie I was
joking.
referring to.
No, I knew he was actually referencing that.
Oh.
Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention.
Vampire stuff. Yeah, that's what I would do.
Okay.
If I was that director though, I would do the more realistic version of the movie where everyone's just crazy. The incestuous stuff is still there. It's just this lineage thing. Maybe that's why Hannah takes a while to, have her period, because incest brings about
Bad.
issues.
Yeah.
And maybe that's why, yeah, the sister, like, she has like miscarriages all the time. Actually, I just remembered.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it says that the Baron wanted to keep his bloodline pure. It doesn't say anything about his parents.
No, but the Baron wanted that, and then.
Oh, I see. You mean now? Yeah,
and then
yeah.
like Hannah keeps that going, or maybe
fair,
Hannah
fair.
doesn't, or maybe Hannah doesn't. Because she meets someone to have children with, but then after that, they're like, we want to keep the bloodline as pure as possible. It's already tainted because they hear about their grandfather's story, and they agree with it because they're crazy. There's, and that's what happens. That's what I would do. I would think that would fix the whole issue with.
And it would seem extra evil if they actually weren't being immortal and they're just fucking crazy. I kind of do agree with that. That would be extra fucked.
And yeah, definitely lean into more of the everyone's getting brainwashed, and have Lockhart brainwashed or like have him teetering on the edge where sometimes he's acting like all the other people and sometimes he's not, and then have him, and then that would make sense later on in the movie where he's completely brainwashed, and then he looks back at the ballerina and then he drops it, and that's when he's like, I need to wake up, and that's what happens. uh it would fix that scene. It would fix the whole Volmer thing at the end with them not actually being immortal, and then it would make more sense him running away with Hannah. I don't know.
I still don't get the point of the fucking smile at the end.
Because he woke
You
up
know-
from a dream?
But it seems so evil.
It does.
That's my issue.
Yes, I saw it in 2016 in theaters. I was confused. I thought about it for a long time. I don't know what to think of it. I still don't know what to think of it. And that's what I love about it. Like, that's what I love about that scene in particular. Is just, what do you think it means? Oh, I don't know. It's just like, it invokes thought and discussion about the movie. And I love when people do that. Feeds
Wait a second.
discussion about the movie.
Ed, you didn't mention the best part of the film in your synopsis or in your likes. What the fuck?
What's the
When
best
he gets
part of
hit by the
film?
car.
Oh,
At the very
I mentioned the car. I didn't mention that he got hit by it. Yeah, that was a little weird. I will
That was
say.
like the best part of the movie for me.
Wow,
Same.
you guys really didn't like this. Oh, the scores are
No.
gonna be so different at the end here.
No.
'Cause I
Yeah.
know what grade I give.
Do you want to know what grade I give it?
No, not yet. No.
Not yet, not yet.
I want to wait. I want to
You wanna
savor that. I want to
savor
savor that salt. The tears of unfathomable disappointment. Delicious.
So what I liked about this movie, I honestly really liked it. It was really pretty to look at, like at least the first half. I liked the symbolism of all like the white, like all the people, their hair is usually white because they're super old, but they're always wearing white to symbolize that purity and that sickness and that decay. And I love the like switch from like black bad, white good to white very bad. I
Cool.
liked that Lockhart was like super suspicious from the get-go. He was not acting like a horror movie character. Great job. And I also liked that he was a very smart bastard. In both aspects, he's very intelligent and he's also just an asshole. And it was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like, usually I don't like assholes, but I don't know, there was something about Lockhart that clicked with me.
You know, I didn't think about that. Yeah, that like Lockhart's kind of a asshole, but he's still likable in the end. Because
Yeah.
mostly because everybody else in the movie is just despicable.
Oh, totally. And then he's suspicious of everything from the get-go, and he does not act like a horror movie character. He's like, yeah, no, we're leaving. I'm leaving. I'm not staying here. Oh, I'm staying here. Not for long, bitch. I'm out. Gets hit by a car.
Ah.
Dislikes.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Well, that was your like list? Just that?
That was my like list. That's what I liked about the movie. I didn't like the board or like the partners, whatever they were. You call them the board. I'm just going to call them the board. They did not act realistic to a board. They were all just so pissy. It's like the director just told them, be angry. And like every time they're so on edge. I've met people on a board. Granted, they weren't like New York Stock Exchange East Coast CEO types, but like, I don't know, they were nice to me, a receptionist. These guys, like, I don't think they'd give water to a fish. I disliked that Watkins always seemed to have the answers. Like, she'd just come in with a new crossword puzzle, and it would be exactly the stuff that both of them needed to figure out the mystery when the staff won't tell anybody anything, and there's no library, and where does she get the crosswords? This movie tries to be scary in like too many different ways for me as well. So there's the psychological fear of like being gaslit, right? That's one. Then there's the fear of like doctors and medical professionals not taking your pain or your fear or your experience seriously, which is terrifying, I'll tell you. not great. Then there's the body horror. Then there's the fear of the supernatural or of the unknown with the water and the eels. Then there's like the unnecessary sexual bits. That's right, unnecessary. It's only there for shock value to the audience. Like the bit when Lockhart's in the thing and the lady flashes her boobies and the guy's like
Jerking off.
she's jerking off. It felt so unnecessary. And like we'd never even figure out why she felt the need to do that because he already had a pretty good book. He could have just been reading that the whole time. I disliked the movie's relationship with time. It felt out of place and unnecessarily confusing. Like the bit with specifically I'm talking about when his mom dies because it's
Yeah, when was that?
yeah, it was supposed to be it as far as I can gather, it happened before he left. But they show it after he left.
But he was leaving that night.
Yeah.
How can he cremate her that fast?
Yeah, like I said, I don't like it. And then also like the bit where Lockhart's like the second time he snaps out of it and like the relationship of him going all the way down to the secret chamber where Volmer is with Hannah, that's like a weird thing to me. Like the way it's presented, at least it could have been cleaned up a little bit better. And my big last thing, I hate, I cannot express my displeasure on how the movie, how the director, how the cinematographer treated Hannah, especially at the end. Hannah has no personality or real personhood, or even like personhood through 99% of the movie. She is super innocent. It's reiterated to us and to the protagonist, who's like our avatar or whatever. Hannah is innocent. She might physically look like an adult, but she's closer to a child. That's at least what we are being presented with. I don't think it's as emphasized or it's as true as Volmer's letting on because he's a dick, but still that's what we as the audience are being led to believe. And yet at the very end, when Volmer is assaulting Hannah, the cinematographer and the director made the conscious choice, several hours worth of effort to expose her as well for the sexual gratification of the audience. Disgusting.
Yeah, 100% agree. That threw me off as well.
Yeah, because like it turned this like terrifying moment for a human being into boner material.
I thought if they just like when he first exposed her, we don't see anything.
Yeah, that's what it was at first.
And I was like, hopefully that's as far as it's gonna go.
And then it didn't. Fuck that.
Also, she looked really young. I didn't know her age up until I looked it up, so it was like a little weirder too.
22-ish at the time.
But she looks younger. That's kind of the
I know.
problem.
That's
like so like it gives me really weird vibes of like
Exactly.
Yeah. Sorry, keep going, Ruthie.
Yeah. If she does, yeah, I do agree with that sentiment of her looking really young, and
well, it's not just her looking really young. It's like we as the audience have been told this is not a sexual object. This is a young girl. This is somebody who hasn't even had her first period yet. She's innocent. She hasn't had a beer. She's kind of awkward when she dances with boys. And then instantly, no, she's here for your pee-pee.
Yeah.
What little I liked about the movie kind of boiled away. And the more, like I said, I think I said this earlier, the more I think about it, the angrier I get. Yeah. On that cheerful note, how I would fix the movie. First of all, I also meant...
Jesus, a lot of notes.
Yeah.
That's like my level of notes.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Very bulleted, too.
Yeah.
I didn't like the movie. Let me reiterate. Anyways, the excuse to get the CEO back to the States was really weird to me. With a company of that size, a CEO having to like sign off on something like that, there's no way they don't have a system in place for CEOs signing off on similar, not necessarily as important things. Why wouldn't they just use that? They could even still keep him as a patsy if he's overseas. They can just paint him as the irresponsible CEO. Yeah, look at this asshole. He just flew off to the Alps.
Don't some CEOs and stuff have like stamps and... Yeah.
It's really easy to like custom make a stamp with your signature on it, like stupid easy.
I think that's still fraud.
Oh no, it certainly is. But what they were trying to do, I think, was fraud too.
Yeah, I'm about to say they're already doing something wrong. At that point, you might as well just dive on in.
Yeah.
He's
Dive
like,
on
oh
in.
yeah, just say like, oh yeah, he fucked off recently.
Yeah, because they already know that Lockhart's in on it, and Lockhart implies at the beginning of the movie when they're trying to get blackmail him off, like, oh, you guys must have some shady shit too. So they have no qualms. They shouldn't have any qualms with just, all right, let's go through the merger.
Forging
Yeah.
the signature or something.
She did a stamp motion when she did the
I know
noise for
because of the
everyone
stamp.
listening at home. For everyone listening at home.
Oh.
For our lovely audience, you need to have the description, the audio description.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
So I'm gonna say it's not the board/partners, the boardners, if you will. It's not their responsibility, them trying to get the CEO back. If anything, it's like, cool, great, the CEO's not here. Lockhart, can you like shred this letter? And Lockhart reads through it, and he sees all the crazy rambling, but amidst it, at some point, Pembroke, the CEO, he mentions like some kind of guilt, some kind of like past regret of how he hurt a Mr. Lockhart. And Lockhart's like, the fuck? I've never seen this guy before. How did he screw me over? What? I'm gonna get to the bottom of this.
Oh.
Because he's a selfish bastard.
That ties into his dad, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't mention that in the synopsis. I
It's
didn't
fine.
mention
Context, the dad died, and Pembroke admits guilt in the movie. But anyways, alternatively, my first idea was to take Lockhart from being an executive and into being like an executive assistant where he works with Pembroke. But that kind of took away from the smart bastard, the dickishness of his character. So I decided against that.
You could still work.
It might work, but this one seemed a little too like, oh, I care too much for Mr. Pembroke. And he would already know, like, oh, Mr. Pembroke is a health nut.
Yeah.
Because, like, executive assistants, they get to know their executives really well.
Yeah, I mean, his assistant, Lockhart's mom would just come up and he told his assistant to buy my mom something, and it's like the assistant already knew what to get the mom.
Oh, yeah. Quick note, just, like, something to do, like put it on the to-do list for our reshoot. Clear up some of these little like time things. Just make it like, for example, instead of the mom dying in the middle of the night and flash back to the cremation, just have it so that Lockhart's mom dies like after he leaves the retirement home, just for clarity's sake.
Yeah.
And
he gets a call on the way there.
Yeah, she like gives it to him, like, you're gonna need this. Dies.
And then like on the flight there, he gets a call from the train ride, he gets a call.
Hey, your mom's super dead. Bye.
Bye.
So here he has a chance to go back, but he wants an ambition.
Well, it's I wouldn't say it's just the ambition, it's the curiosity.
No. But like, yeah, but the movie's theme is ambition, so
True.
it's just like a way to keep it.
True.
Sorry, keep going. I didn't mean to take over.
No worries. As for the problem of Watkins, she's a super important character to the plot of the film, but it's always glossed over. Like I said, she gets her information from the mysterious crosswords, not from a library that doesn't exist, not from the staff. We still don't know how she gets the crosswords.
She does have books though. There's books there. She does learn.
Yeah, but where she gets books?
Yeah, like, and why would Volmer keep books about who he really is? Yeah.
I thought it was supposed to be like an oracle thing with her.
Oh.
Like she's supposed to represent the oracle of the story, Watkins. But I kind of just realized this now. It really isn't as like clear cut, and it kind of is weird about
she always has the answer that he
exactly
needs.
Like she gets it through the she gets it through the crosswords.
Exactly.
So I guess
but
it is
again, where does she get the crosswords?
I assume she just gone from the news. I'm sure they get some from newspapers. They can't be bored all the time. It's not good for them. Then they start thinking, so keep them occupied. But again, it's an oracle thing, and I don't actually hate that part as much, but it is weird. It's a weird like old like
trope.
Not trope. It's a weird fantasy. I guess a trope. Yeah, that's in the word. It's like a weird fantasy thing. But I'm not. It just seemed weirdly. It doesn't fit the tune as much.
Yeah. So, anyways, in my version, the best way I can think of fixing this would be to set up basically around this area. There's like a historical tour that people like to go on of this local area Volmer, the director, is very gracious. Maybe he even owns the tourist company. But either way, he graciously lets outsiders come in and have a quick little 3-hour tour between the hours of 11 to 3, where they can kind of tour the area. They can get the stories and the history of this castle. It's kind of free advertising, so he's not too upset about having them there. And our Mrs. Watkins, she's either not a former executive of Xerox, but I liked that too much. So like at some point she quit Xerox, but she was a tour guide here for many years. And finally she decided to retire. And where else to retire but the sanatorium? Why not?
My question about the tour guide thing is, though, wouldn't the cameras and the...
That's the thing.
Wouldn't that be a
I did
thing?
think of that.
Okay.
Yeah, basically like there's liability waivers that everybody signs, and you just take the cameras and the phones and shit, have them at the front desk. If anybody starts to get a little antsy, asking too many questions, I'm so sorry, I spilled water all over your phone. I'm so clumsy. It's awful.
Alright.
Lee convenient. So if all of this is true, how does Lockhart end up being a patient? I hear you both asking me telepathically. Easy. So like I said, there's the liability waiver, right? It's super fucking long. Nobody's gonna read that shit. It's all legalese, it's medicalese, it's like 5+ pages. So by the time, if someone was to read it, they're not gonna read the last page where it's secretly the intake form. The sign here, please.
That's kind of how we got locked in as a patient.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's not much of a change, though.
That's the thing. Like, this is like everybody signing it at the tour. So when people start getting a little antsy or asking too many questions, not only do you lose your phone and camera access, they can take you under mysterious circumstances, blah, blah, blah.
That's clever.
So in this version, he leaves with the tour, and then the next day he comes in with the driver, tries to get Pembroke again, and then he gets hit by the car.
Why would he go on the tour in the first place? He'd just be going in to get Pembroke.
He's going into the tour because I think in my mind what's going on is he's going on the tour so he can just quickly get in, get Pembroke, get out. But the way that this tour is set up, it's very strict. You can't leave the eyes of the tour guide. You can't like deviate from the path. It's very surveilled. So he doesn't get that chance. It's pretty much the same situation as him at the front desk.
Okay.
Where he can't escape. And then as soon as the tour's done, would you look at that? It's 3:02. Time to get on the bus, everybody.
So it's 3:02.
It's 3:02. Time to get on the bus, everybody. Let's go. Side note, pretty much the rest of the movie plays as normal, except for 2 scenes. The dentistry scene. Because I want to subvert expectations. They take him to the chair. It's really scary.
Is this in the same point in the movie?
Yes. Keep everything pretty much the same, but they get like the dentistry stuff. Yeah, same timeline. He's like strapped in the chair, and then Dr. Volmer comes in, and he's like, quite a few places don't believe in anesthesia. But dentistry is barbaric. It's awful. Here, do you need some like Novocaine? Do you need like, just like a quick reprieve? Every horror movie that like has some kind of medical thing, they always go with the teeth stuff. I hate the teeth stuff.
What about fingernails?
No.
I have a hard time with fingernails.
And then the last thing that we need to edit is we need to fix up this Hannah Volmer bullshit. So let's just do it the easy way. Volmer is tying her up saying like, oh, you're going to be my lovely daughter wife. I had a sister wife once. That was pretty nice. She burned alive. And he's like tying her up and she's like, I don't want to be tied up. I don't want to be a daughter wife. And then she like punches him and Volmer's like, I am very upset. And then that's when Lockhart comes in. Very easy. Done. Fixed it. I win the podcast.
Fixed.
No, not today.
I win the podcast.
Not today. I have a thing today.
Oh, he did the anime glasses thing.
I have a thing today. Can I go?
Oh, I did have. Sorry, no, I forgot my question. I was gonna ask a question.
Wait, so,
no,
so
I remembered it.
you would keep the whole Volmer face mask thing and
in favor of what I'm fixing, or if I had to pick between the two, I'm gonna go with mine. Like
okay.
I don't I don't care about that. That's not what upset me.
I know, but I'm
You
just
know?
saying, like, the whole, like, water thing, immortality, that's all still in there.
Sure, why not?
Okay.
My question is, throughout the movie, or like throughout the exposition, it's like, okay, the Baron wanted to marry his sister, so he killed the priest. Why did he have to kill the priest? Why did he have to marry his sister? You can just bang your sister, dude.
He already was.
Yeah, he already was. Why does he need to marry his daughter? You don't have to marry your daughter, dude. Alimony.
I think that he's just a. I think he's just a victim of the times.
True.
To have a actual heir, you need to be married to the person where the heir
That
comes
doesn't-
from.
That does
Otherwise,
make
it'd be a
sense. But
bastard.
true. He's already a bastard. Second follow-up question. If you marry your daughter, is it alimony or child support when you get divorced? I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
That's funny. That's actually funny. I like that. I
You
didn't
forgot to
laugh.
laugh, Ed.
Yeah. Because it's kind of messed up.
Yeah.
But
it
it's
is.
funny.
Anyways, I'm done. I'm sorry.
So anyway, as I was saying, I'm gonna win the podcast tonight.
Anime glasses.
What I
A
liked.
cure.
And
The
cure for wellness.
Dang, I was gonna say the cure for wellness. Cure for wellness. A cure for wellness. There we go, Ed. You happy? What I liked, the cinematography was really good. Like almost throughout the whole film. The only time I think it flubbed it was in the final bits. In the
Everything fell apart in the final bits.
Including that guy's face.
Okay, I laughed at that one. One thing I thought was cool was the train when he's going. The train's going in the tunnel.
Oh, yes.
It's supposed to represent. I looked online. Someone said it's supposed to represent an eel, and I didn't see that, and now I do. And I'm like, that's
Ooh,
really clever.
spooky.
Like I said, the whole movie. I feel like the writer just burnt out in the second half of the script and didn't want to fix it. Which, I mean, I can't blame them. I've been there. I thought Mia Goth and Jason Isaacs were actually really great. I know people don't say. I know people like. I've heard people say, "Oh, Mia Goth's not that good of an actress," or "Oh, she didn't do as good in this film." I disagree. She was not given a lot. She did really well with what she was given. I'm actually wondering in the underwater scene that she's in if that was actually her underwater, because if not, the special effects were really good in that scene.
Like with the eels?
No. Like in the dream when she's underwater.
Oh.
It was a really
But
beautiful shot.
it was when Dane
When
DeHaan
he's-
was also underwater in the
Yeah.
like
He
in
had
the
sensory
big tub.
deprivation chamber. Was he underwater during all that also?
I assume he was, but like but like when he's having the vision after he gets hit in the car
Mhm.
in a car crash.
Oh, that's
And-
right. That's right.
Yeah, that one was really cool. I actually really that scene like stills in my mind a little bit. That was a really good shot. So yeah, Mia Goth and Jason Isaacs were great. Jason Isaacs especially. My God, that man can act. He needs to be in more shit. I thought Dane DeHaan was okay. I don't know. I don't know why. I just didn't. Some about his performance was really good, but I don't know. I could see another actor or two taking over. I don't know. He did good. Dane, if you listen to
Tom
this, you did good.
Holland.
Too young.
Oh,
This movie, like-
time. Too young at the time of the movie. Yeah.
Well, also like I don't know, he's kind of got baby face. I wouldn't.
Tom Holland.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Tom Holland. He's got baby face to me. Like there's the movie
No,
with
but
him
Dane
with the
DeHaan
soldier.
looks really young too.
He looks really young, but he doesn't have the baby face that Tom Holland.
Because I don't know. I like it that he's a young, like successful kind of.
He just looks too young to be
cheating.
that high of a. He looks too young to be in that high of a position.
It
He looks
makes
like he's
sense with
close to
Mia
mine.
Goth though, as the
Yeah.
Mia Goth makes sense. That's what I'm saying. But like,
no,
Dane
but like
DeHaan,
as they end up together kind of thing.
I don't even see him as a relationship. He's completely like asexual throughout the movie. He's just trying to
Yeah.
defend her, I think, from the creep when they're in that bar
Yeah.
fight scene than anything else. If anything, like I don't know. I don't see him with liking anyone or anything except he's all about
Money.
ambition.
Yeah.
Ambition, yeah.
It's
I guess you
just
could
like a
choose
thing.
an older actor, and it's more of
Slightly
he's more of
older.
a father figure, a real father
Yeah.
figure.
Yeah, slightly older. Or at least someone who looks slightly older. The Baron and Immortality angle is actually really interesting, and I was digging I knew it was coming way too early. I liked how the idea was fun, but my God, the fucking execution. Just the fuck, man. Like how
Yeah,
let's Sorry, go.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. Like, it works fine. It's just, I mean, the idea. It's just the execution. Something about it.
So the dislikes,
Oof.
Oh, that's long.
the
Oh, that's
I
long.
mean, some of it's not that long. You'll see what I mean when I go into detail. But here, the dislikes. The pacing is so bad. The movie could have been like honestly an hour shorter. And like how you guys have, like Ruthie said, how many times can he fall for it and break free? Like why does Lockhart fall for it twice?
I disagree about the pacing.
The first bit is good, but like I said, after the town, after they visit the town, it just there's something where
The
it
movie's
doesn't
like
hit.
too slow and too fast at the same time because we already know
So
the answer.
fast.
Dude, there's some movies where I realize, like, wow, this movie's really long, kind of stuff. When I know the pacing's off, but I didn't think that or feel that in this movie at all.
We
I don't
did.
know.
I
The
did.
pacing for
When we
me.
paused it, it's like, what do you mean it's worth 30 minutes in? I'm kidding. No, it was more like an hour.
And it's like, wait, there's how much left? I thought we were at the 3/4 mark.
Yeah.
Goddamn. Even in cults, like I get how people don't realize shit can be fucked, like shit's fucked. Like, sunk cost fallacy. I get that. But the first thing is, let's see the teeth. Everyone's losing their teeth all at the same time. I know they're old, but like by that much, and around the time they're all cured, that has to be explained. Like they never even try to give an explanation. I think if they just gave explanations, it'd be better. Like the eels, they don't explain why there's eels. If you can just say, "Oh, it's it's a rare treatment that we use that we discovered in some other country,
Eel
like
oil.
the eel oil of the Himalayas. The eel oil, we just remove the middleman. Here's the eel itself. Trust us." Like stuff like that would be great.
Could you imagine the balls on Volmer as he tells his patients, "Yeah, didn't you know teeth are super bad for you? So we get them. We'll get rid of them for you." Sorry.
But they replaced them.
You don't need teeth. Who needs teeth?
But how will you eat the venison that we killed?
You just gum it.
the venison couldn't let it go to waste.
Yeah, exactly. I
Yeah,
actually did
that
like that
scene.
line. I did like that scene. Another thing, the jerk off scene makes no sense. Like it seemed like it was a distraction at first, but like all the doctors are in on this. So what's the reason? Like why?
I totally forgot about that scene.
Are you
Yeah.
kidding me? I couldn't forget about it. It's just so damn weird.
It is.
It's not even like ooh boobies.
I think that's the whole point of it, just to be like, it's more of that shock factor thing and just
but
making
it doesn't
really
add
fucking
anything.
weird.
It doesn't add. We're just giving a big thumbs down. But
I
like
know,
it
but
doesn't.
like you
It
gotta put
doesn't.
some weird shit in there if you want to make it
You
feel
don't
for the
have to.
audience.
But that's right before we start seeing like the eels swimming. You don't need the sex stuff. You don't need the sex stuff when there's eels.
Yeah. Why the doctor's on this? You don't need the distraction. Like why?
You can just
like
read the
again,
book.
the movie that scene stood out to me more of like why the fuck is he jerking off? Not ooh boobies. It doesn't make sense.
Ooh, boobies.
So also,
I don't know.
it's too damn obvious, too damn early that the Baron is Volmer.
I also disagree, but whatever.
I found out as soon as I saw the picture. I'm like, that's
See,
him. That's the guy.
I didn't see the picture.
The picture is
I couldn't-
before you see Volmer, so how did you find out?
Well, it's like, okay, so that's obviously the Baron. And then he comes in and he's like, "Oh, I deeply respect the Baron for his..."
As soon as he showed the pen, as soon as they found the pendant, I'm like, that's the Baron's. Oh, Volmer's the Baron. Okay, movie over. Like,
Roll credits.
I'm gonna get to that later. The rape scene or the sexual assault scene. Ruthie already said everything a million times better than I could. So yeah. At first, I was thinking, why eels? Because they mentioned leeches earlier. Like, oh, I feel bad for the leech. The leech, depending on the treatment. Like I thought. So I'm like, what are eels water leeches? So I did some research on this just to see if I could find anything.
And because he was legally obligated to for the podcast.
For the podcast, yeah. I tried the research guy. Eels remove toxins in skin as they're a good source of vitamin A. I found this on the website, which I have linked to my notes. If anyone who's listening wants them, I'm not sure how, I found a few websites on this about that one. So I can just give you one. And also, when it comes to symbolism, the eel can be seen as perseverance and surviving what may happen. And they're also sneaky. It could be a more symbolic one, and I have a link to a website about that talks about that. The fixes. Ruthie wants to see how long it is.
That's so long.
It's not.
You joked about mine being long. It's nowhere near that long.
I like to, guys know me. I like to talk about themes and just kind of the way what the movie's trying to talk about. I always find that interesting. So when I was kind of confused about some parts, like the theme. Is it that there's too much ambition? People can have too much ambition. It can be bad. Like that whole scene about Volmer talking about, like, oh, we killed God, and then we went to go to the, and then humanity replaced that empty throne with their ambition. I know I'm flubbing up the German accent. Don't at me. I get that Volmer's ambition to be immortal and have everything, including a daughter wife. Ew. Is a foil. I get it's a foil for Lockhart's ambition, and I actually did dig that. But I'm wondering, what if instead, like, because the whole movie, everyone's just burning themselves out to get to this arguably unattainable thing of like immortality. You're gonna have to keep going at it. You'll never be content with it.
Mm-hmm.
Or with money, you'll never be content with it. If you have like a bajillion stuff, look at millionaire. Look at millionaires who.
Oh, look at
Pembroke. So, what if the movie was Lockhart learning about healthy ambition, so he can find a real cure of wellness, which is balance in life. Maybe I'm taking that from my dad, who's always like, find a good balance with everything. So maybe earlier when he rescues, maybe when he's out of the dentistry scene, he already sees that Pembroke is dead, air quotes. Maybe he tries to instead, like, I'm just going to cut my losses. I'm not going to try and be ambitious. I'm not going to try and prove anything. I just want to get out of here. I'm going to save her. This is too much. I'm not going to try and, to quote Han Solo, no reward is worth this. So he's going to take Hannah and run away. He's not trying to be a hero. He just doesn't want the ambition anymore. He doesn't care anymore about this whole thing, which I know the movie kind of talks about in the end, but it didn't feel as earned. That's my way of getting to the theme. So if I'm going to follow this tangent, now I'm going to be talking about that tangent of him running away with Hannah, but it's not going to be talking deep as much in the theme at this point. So they run away, show how powerful the control of the Baron is when no one when they're going to the town, they're going to house to house to house.
Mm-hmm.
They now recognize that Hannah is with the Baron or Volmer, and they're all terrified, like, oh shit, look what happened. So they're trying to knock on the doors and no one's letting them in. No one's letting them in.
They're not even opening the door?
Not even opening the door. Like, you can tell someone's there, but they're just like, nope, we don't want to let you in. We don't want to get Fulmer's wrath. So they go to the police officer, right? Maybe the driver notices them, and he's like, what's going on? What's going on? He sees the tooth. He's like, oh, fuck, what happened? Volmer comes in, and at first they think they can trust the cop, and then they see the vial,
mm-hmm.
and the driver's with them, because I thought the driver was a good dude. Because the driver struck me as a very simple man.
Mm-hmm. So
I thought he would know what's right and wrong. He wouldn't be plagued by economics in that sense.
He doesn't give a shit about ambition.
No, he doesn't. He's, like he said, just simple man. I worked like my father did. He joins them, and as soon as that point happens, they realize, by that point we already know, it can just be revealed maybe through like a scratch, like, oh, like a punch that, oh, like the face starts to peel off, and it's like, oh, the Baron is Volmer. And then maybe they'll have the fight there. So you get the reveal, and maybe then he'll try to convince Hannah to come back as his only family, because she wants her family. It's like, look, I'm your father. Please come back with me. And then this is the point where you can either split it into two different ways. She returns with Volmer, and we kind of know what's going to happen because of, history. And that's where the movie ends, because he tried. Maybe it's one of the downsides of learning balance is like
learning when to pull back.
And also knowing when to maybe also move forward too,
mm-hmm.
even if you don't want to. And he's like, I can't keep doing this. I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can make another rescue scene if you want. I don't know. Like they go in hard. Him and the driver go in hard.
They like go in Rambo style?
They go in kind of Rambo style. Or not Rambo, but they just like sneak in maybe one more time. Instead of trying to break out, they're sneaking in. Maybe also Hannah will reject him for lying to her all this time about, you're actually my father? Because let's be honest, being told that this person you've known all your life is your father, it's hard news. So, especially that if you're been living for 200 years. So, just movie ends sooner. You save a lot of time, you still get the messages and the ideas. Another point you can end the movie is that it has a more sinister, dark ending, and it can leave people really talking. Hannah is asked by Lockhart, why do you want to leave? And that's when the movie ends. and then we're left knowing that she's stuck at the house. Lockhart failed.
Or she's stuck at the
she's stuck at the castle. Lockhart failed. She's now having her period, so now the marriage ceremony was about to happen. We all receive the connotations. We realize the Baron is, there's enough hints.
Yeah.
And you're just left wondering what the fuck's gonna happen. Look at all this ambition, look what it did. And that's where it ends. Kind of laziest one to do a reshoot. So I did have a few more. Yes.
I don't think that last one would work. Like I get where you're coming at, or it's like the ambiguous ending, but there's a point where there needs to be some kind of resolution in the story, and I don't think it fully comes to that point yet.
Like
that would be good if there was going to be a sequel or maybe even a trilogy. I don't want a sequel or a trilogy, so it kind of needs to.
Yeah.
I did like the other ones though.
Thank you. I guess another thing is cut the scene where his mother's dying. I don't get why she had to die. Like, the dream sequence is cool, but maybe she's like, oh no. And then she tries to reach him, but she can't reach him.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, the death just seemed kind of useless. And then with the whole box thing, the burning her, like
cremation.
The cremation, thank you. It just seems kind of like, it just makes a confusion of where in the timeline this is, because he left that night.
Mm-hmm.
Was this after? Like, it doesn't make sense.
It kind of lulls you into like, okay, so there's some kind of non-linear stuff, but the rest of the movie, for the most part, kind of follows like a linear structure, so it throws you off and it doesn't really need to.
It just seemed like to be weird and mysterious, but it doesn't. It feels like they were going to add something to that and they just kind of didn't. Also, I guess I did want to keep that ending because, again, it's ambiguous if Volmer was the Baron.
Mm-hmm.
And the ending's dark, like I talked about. I was thinking erase the hostage scene with the teeth when he gets caught. Maybe he finds the info and then leaves. Maybe he cuts himself trying to escape, so that way there is an injury and he can go to the police with that.
Mm-hmm.
Because it doesn't make sense to me. He's restrained. He got his teeth removed. How did he get out into the driver? They don't explain that. It's like, oh, he got out. Like, wait, what? What happened there? You keep the weird eel period scene, but you don't explain how he got out. Like, it's so stupid, man. So at this point, here's the thing. The driver seems to know about something. Like, what the fuck? Lockhart came back, missing a tooth, bleeding, drives him to the police station, right? Why doesn't the driver stick around anymore at that point? Why doesn't he try and help? It just didn't make sense to me.
He's a simple man. He sees shit go down. He leaves. He's the smartest man in a horror movie.
Yeah, but then he's still picking people up from the office, the board,
mm-hmm.
and he takes them to
One last job.
But like he just takes them to the burning castle. Like, okay, one, why are you still helping him? You know something's fucked up in the castle. Two, I don't know. It's just so weird. Like, why are you taking people to the burning castle? You already see it burning.
Oh, to save people, obviously.
No, but why are you taking people
driving the board up
to a burning building?
Yeah.
Why not just like call the firefighters?
Another thing I'd want to erase is one of the board's lines was kind of fucked up, which is like when they're like, oh, if you don't do this, you're going to get arrested. But instead of saying you're going to get arrested or you can go to jail, just say, how do you like to have like a
how do
you like to have I'm not going to say the line. Don't say it.
I remember.
But yeah, it's a kind of racist line. But it's funny because she looks at him at like the black board member to make sure it's okay. I don't feel comfortable saying it. But like, it's so like, why?
It's very inappropriate.
It's not. I get it. They're board members. They're that high up, and nothing affects them. But like, it's so like, why?
Yeah, like I said,
they're already being assholes for doing this.
Yeah,
for doing this, like like, oh, find this guy we're doing illegal shit.
Unlikable.
But they're already unlikable for getting a man who is sick out of a treatment facility to take the fall for crimes that they committed.
Yeah, it's a little.
It just seems
much.
like it's a lot of much. It bothers
me.
In
my opinion, it was kind of funny though. Just
matter of fact way she said it. Yeah, and it if anything, it kind of just like it should have been foreshadowing to us the writers and the directors how they feel about that kind of stuff at the end of the movie.
So yeah, jerk off scene. Why have it? The guy was already reading a magazine.
Yeah, just have him read the book.
Just keep reading the book and ignore it.
On it. He doesn't care about the eels.
Yeah, well, yeah, and also like, okay. Also, when Lockhart's getting out and being taken out,
mm-hmm.
he can see the lady, the nurse, topless. Or at least he sees her back. Why doesn't he try and mention that to Volmer? Like, hey, yeah, your nurse was topless, and
She
that
naked.
she was naked and like distracting the other dude. Like he can clearly see.
He was panicking.
Yes, but he
Maybe
can
he
at least
didn't
mention
notice.
that part. He can mention that part, and then they don't believe him. But it'll at least just get rid of a
Yeah.
plot hole of like, why not mentioning the other weird shit? Not plot hole, but just a
That's not a
nitpick.
plot hole.
I know, I didn't mean to say plot hole. It's like a weird nitpick.
Yeah.
So, and also it'll make him seem crazier to everyone else, and they can play it off as like, oh,
Play that crazy stuff. Yay.
Like-
Toxins leaving the body.
Also, if he just ignores him, if that doctor's just ignoring him or nurse or whatever is just ignoring him drowning, it would still be a shock, but it would make more sense that like the staff don't care about the older people, as you know, the guys like screaming and they hit him, the old man and who's restrained
Mhm.
before the transfusion, stuff like that. Just it would make more, it would fit, it'd make more sense. It would, and you'd still be surprised by the hit because it's like, okay, this guy's being annoying. Of course they're doing it, but then it makes, oh shit, they really were darker all the time. This come as left field. The Baron Volmer immortality thing. I think you should leave the pendant till the wedding scene.
Ooh, yeah.
Hear me out.
But
So
by that
have
time,
it-
you already know.
Hear me out. Exactly, but that's the final nail in the coffin. He doesn't just have to say it like that. You don't. The movie tries to say it's a smart movie, but it has to explain everything to its audience to a stupid degree. How about you have it in a box?
Doesn't though.
You have the pendant in a box that's in frame, and but it's not focused on as much. So I think it's in the corner of the office. It's in a
Or like,
place.
or when he's leaving, when he's in the office, he just looks at it, but he doesn't actually like pick it up.
Yes,
right
but the
away.
movie doesn't. The camera doesn't focus hard on the box. It's just kind of it's there, but it's big. Maybe it has a good design and it's noticeable, but it's not something that you're gonna like really focus on through the camera. But it's much more on the design, right? Maybe instead of a fucking necklace, have Lockhart look at like maybe an old surgical tool from the 1800s. I looked some up last
Oh,
night,
yeah.
and there was one that was like, it's like a big cylinder with a big needle, and it has like a bunch of little like square, like little circle holes for like your fingers. I think they're used for blood. I didn't research that part. It can
No,
also hint at the like the essence and stuff's being taken from the people.
Mhm. Knowing the medicine in the 1800s, it's 90% likely it's blood.
Yeah, exactly. I did like that I did like Volmer's calm demeanor to Lockhart. I thought it was really cool. And I did like also, it seems like the camera's almost always looking slightly up at Volmer to give him a sense of superiority up until the end. I don't know if you caught that, Ed.
Now that you mention it, yes, I do recognize that. There's always an upward looking up at Volmer kind of thing.
And this is giving him a sense of superiority and like he's the nice calm one because
He's the one in control.
here's what I'm thinking. Maybe, but I kind of like it. Like he's the magnificent bastard, that's the trope. But like,
He really is. He's
But-
such a smarmy bastard.
but here's the thing. How about you give him a risk of some fine house plan in the basement? So like if you can do that, maybe have like with Lockhart, have him drill the first tooth, with either glee or anger, and leave the others do the rest, and then he's calm after that for the rest of the movie. Just one scene to show that he's not this perfect like I have everything planned. I'm always cool and calm. Just have him just one scene. I think it add a lot more characterization. He's not perfect. He's old. He's alive a lot longer than he should be. That's going to have some effects.
Yeah,
He's been burnt.
Well, even before the events where he got burned, he's already been portrayed as a very cruel person. He assaulted his sister. I think he said it to Hannah, like she didn't like it at first, but she ended up liking it. And he tortured his peasants. He performed uncounted medical stuff.
And let's not forget that he threw all the reasons the peasants found out because they found just bodies laying around randomly in some places and they pieced it together. So he has moments where he screws up and he doesn't think things through, or he's like a devious bastard. So have a moment where he cracks. Let us see past the facade for a little bit. Also, I think the point where also another thing is maybe the point where Lockhart figures out that Volmer is truly evil. The camera doesn't look up on Volmer. Like there's no suspicions anymore. He knows what Volmer is. It's just like whoop, back. The camera is like level.
Or maybe even like it looks down on him.
Yeah, maybe. Also, I guess how does Watkins know all this info about the Baron and Baroness? I like Ruth's idea, but for the tour guide, I thought maybe he just had a library.
That is the easier option.
So, sorry, I forgot to mention the pendant, by the way. It comes back when he grabs it for the maybe he gives her the box. She opens it and there's the pendant
Mm-hmm.
when they're during the marriage ceremony.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's no libraries, right? How she get all these books and information? So what I thought would be cool is maybe there's a small library, and either Watkins steals a journal from Volmer's office just to be curious while looking through the Baron's journal, and she doesn't realize it's Volmer's handwriting until it's too late. Or maybe Volmer gave her some history books because he enjoyed her fascination with history, and maybe that because he's so friendly with his clients, like why not
Yeah.
sharing some of their
That's-
interests?
And
And he's already cocky that he'll get away with it. Why not just give her a book or even a journal? So like, oh, I found this on expedition to this place, or hey, when I was exploring this place to make it into a treatment, we looked through everything. We found some really interesting stuff. Do you want to look at this journal?
yeah, he basically wears "I'm secretly the Baron" as a T-shirt already. Like he wears it on his sleeve. A lot of his comments are super shady. He would totally be like, "Hey, read this." Haha.
And then she starts to read it and she's like, oh yeah, I learned all this through this journal. Also, another thing is, if he wants to really throw the trail off, say that both of Hannah's parents are dead, and then Hannah has like, no, I could have sworn I remember seeing my mom's face. Like she said I never really met her, but like I remember seeing her face. I remember, like I don't think they're dead. I'm feeling they're alive. And that gives a better hint than just gives the answer of, oh, my mother died in a fire. But my dad my dad can come back. Yeah, I don't know.
He'll come rescue me.
Yeah. I thought a more. It's so obvious he wants to fuck his own daughter. God, I feel dirty saying that. Maybe instead of keeping more ambiguous at first to not make because then it'll be extra creepy when you finally figure it out. And also, like when sometimes it's more scary when you don't know if something is one way or not.
Mm-hmm.
So like maybe instead of the scene where she comes back from the bar and Volmer forces her to hug him, or tries to, if I remember correctly. Maybe Volmer doesn't want to hug her. Maybe he's throughout the movie when Volmer's more in the background, he's kind of checking her out. You can subtly see it. He'll be checking her out, or maybe he'll comment on her appearance of her growing up, but just in a way that can be taken as innocent or creepy. And we all know there's plenty of people who
like the shady uncle.
Yeah, but not super shady. But it's like, I don't know. It could be like a nice thing, or it could be taken creepy, and it can be like. Maybe the first time it sounds nice, and then when you look back, it's like, oh, that's really creepy. Oh, shit. So you give the movie more rewatchability instead of never wanting to watch this damn thing again. Also, like, just cut out the scene just cut out the lines of the Baron being like, oh, he was a man of science. He was wrong culturally, but he was a true man of science. Like, just take that scene out. It's like, I'm not the Baron. What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I'm not that sexy, handsome man. Like, no.
His big brain and his even bigger castle.
Yeah. Also, if you want to groom Hannah, I feel terrible saying this. Why not already have her know a lot of the truth? Like,
yeah,
don't let her know the impossible truth as she's getting married. Like, hey, yeah, we're immortal, or hey, yeah, I'm your father and you nearly died, but we can't tell anyone because we're too old. And we just need to keep this going until we find a way, just then she'll be more likely to stay. And then she'll be like, and then she'll still have a reason to go out because she wants to see the outside world. Also, have her fight the marriage? She just looked confused. She didn't even look uncomfortable at the wedding scene as much. She just looked more confused as what the fuck's going on.
She seemed super dazed. It was almost like she was like drugged or something.
Yeah, it just didn't seem like that. That's about
also,
it, really.
Like, Volmer always, like, I don't know. Like, she was already trapped. Like, people in those kind of situations just kind of go with the flow, I think. I'm not sure, but, like, I can understand why she didn't fight it. She's just like, this is actually happening kind of stuff.
Yeah, I get
Volmer
that, but
didn't explain to her exactly what was happening. That's all?
That's it, really. I just trying to fix as much of the movie as possible and give other directions in case people wanted different ideas.
So, great.
So, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Ed, go first. It's your movie.
I give it a B. I don't think that the last 40-30 minutes is enough to invalidate the rest of the movie that I believe is very, very good.
I do. I give it an F.
Is that your lowest grade?
Yes.
God.
Actually, you know what? No, I'm gonna take it back. F-.
Great. I love this. Hector?
D plus, just because the cinematography was really good.
I love this.
No joke.
Great.
The second half, I was enjoying the movie up until like a certain point where it just felt too damn slow.
Yeah.
Some of the symbolism didn't fucking add up, like the deer.
This is that kind of movie, the one that's like very decisive. People are either like it or hate it.
I really didn't.
I don't think
find
there's in
much...
between.
See, I was gonna make it like a C movie, and then like the bullshit with Hannah happened, and it's like, I'm not gonna let this slide.
Yeah.
No, it needs to be burned like Hannah's mom. That's the only way.
Like I think I get what the guy was going for, but like it just didn't work out well, and it's just
No, I know what the guy was getting at. It's not charitable.
part. I'm not talking about the Hannah part. I'm just talking about the rest of the film. No, the Hannah part's despicable. That's the reason I'm giving it a D plus instead of just it'd be a D minus, but the cinematography was good enough to give it a D plus. Because the mystery is also set up interestingly in the beginning, which not a lot of movies always do that.
Yeah.
But again, I completely understand you, Ruthie. I just D plus.
Yeah.
Ugh.
F minus.
I can understand you guys too, but I still like the movie.
No, I get why you like it.
And
It is
and
your
don't
vibe.
get me wrong. I agree with all of the despicable and the weird shit that happened. I just my grade is mostly based on just like the first like
No,
three
I-
quarters,
I get
a
it.
little
I'm not
bit more of the
judging-
movie.
I'm not judging you for your B plus. I'm just like,
I know. I'm just being
personally-
careful that other people don't judge me.
True.
Yeah. No, yeah, we know you.
Because
No, you drink your respect women juice.
Yeah. But yeah, that's a cure for wellness. Very divisive, in my opinion. I liked it.
I disagree.
I figured out our next movie. I'm going to pick Sonic the Hedgehog. That was the last movie I ever saw in theaters, and I kind of want to fully revisit it again. It actually is not that bad of a movie. It's actually not. Ed looks disappointed. He's covering his eyes like, really, Hector? But like,
I will stand for it just because of Jim Carrey.
Ed is just going through all the stages of grief right now.
I'm just gonna go through with it because Jim Carrey. Because I recently watched Truman Show.
Was it Ben Schwartz? Ben
Yes.
Schwartz? Yeah, Ben Schwartz did a really good Sonic. I just thought, look, we've done a bunch of horror. Here's what I'm thinking: we've done a bunch of horror movies. We've done a bunch of like thrillers.
Action thrillers.
Yes,
A good chunk of our movies are hard PG-13 or R.
We need a good PG or G.
Well, let's just try something different. I think with a nice little refresher. It's spring. Let's have some nice fun life into all this. Thank you everyone again for listening. It's been great. We hope you're enjoying this podcast.
We appreciate you.
We really do. It's been really fun working on this. I've had a great time.
Yes, it has. So,
I'm gonna plug our Ruthie. Can you give everyone the Gmail just in case they want to talk to us?
Maybe or send us recommendations.
Yeah.
Let me pull it up.
We would love recommendations.
Yeah, we would love recommendations. We haven't gotten one yet, really.
Ask me why I hate The Godfather, and I will fucking tell you.
Oh my god.
Oof.
I will write an essay or maybe 3. Okay. Our email is reshootpodcast@gmail.com. No caps, no periods, no nothing.
And our Twitter handle is reshootmoviepO1. I will spell it out for you just in case.
That's at reshootmoviepO1, right?
At reshoot, yes. At reshoot, yes. So it's there's no colon like in our title. RESHOOTMOVIEPO1 for some of the people who have some trouble with like letters. I know, I feel y'all.
Yes.
Big mood.
So be sure to join us next time when we reshoot. So join us next time when we reshoot.
Say it. Say it.
Sonic the Hedgehog.
Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye.
Today's film was A Cure for Wellness, directed by Gore Verbinski. The screenplay was written by Justin Haith and Gore Verbinski. and the cinematographer was Bojan Bazelli. Go show some love to their various social media accounts. They made a movie, which is more than we can say here. Our next episode will be Sonic the Hedgehog.